In 1898, inside a dark, dusty tomb in Saqqara, Egypt, French archaeologists uncovered a small wooden object that shouldn't exist. It was buried next to a mummified official from the 3rd century BC. For decades, it sat in a museum basement labeled simply as a bird model. But look closer. It doesn't have feathers, it doesn't have legs, and its wings aren't curved like a bird's. They are perfectly flat, like the wings of a modern glider. Most shocking of all, it has a vertical tail fin. Nature doesn't make vertical tail fins. Only aeronautical engineers do. Welcome to Era by Era. Today, we are looking at the Saqqara bird. Is it a child's toy, a religious symbol, or is it smoking gun evidence that the ancient Egyptians understood the laws of aerodynamics 2,000 years before the Wright Brothers ever left the ground? Stick around, because when modern engineers put this toy into a wind tunnel, the results didn't just surprise them, they rewrote history. The anomaly in the basement. For nearly 70 years after its discovery, the Saqqara bird was forgotten. It was tucked away in a box at the Museum of Egyptian Antiquities in Cairo, categorized alongside other bird figurines. But in 1969, Dr. Khalil Masiha, a professor of anatomy and an ancient model enthusiast, noticed something wrong with this bird. Dr. Masiha was a man of science, but he was also a model plane flyer. When he looked at the 5.6-inch sycamore wood artifact, he didn't see a falcon, he saw an airfoil. He noticed the wings were thickest in the middle and tapered at the edges, the exact shape required to create lift. He noticed the tail wasn't horizontal like every other bird model in Egypt. It was a vertical rudder. He famously stated, "This is not a bird. This is a plane." This is where the story goes from a weird theory to a scientific mystery. Skeptics argued that the bird was too heavy or that the wings were too small to actually fly. So modern researchers did what we do best. They put it to the test. In the late 20th century, aeronautical engineers created a precision-scaled replica of the Saqqara bird. They didn't change the dimensions, they didn't add motors, they just wanted to see if the shape itself was aerodynamically sound. When the air began to rush through the wind tunnel, the results were staggering. The Saqqara bird was capable of generating lift. It was perfectly balanced. It was, by all modern definitions, a high-performance glider. But wait, it gets weirder. Some engineers pointed out that the bird was missing one piece, a horizontal stabilizer on the tail. Without it, the bird would be unstable. However, look at the original artifact. There is a notch on the tail, a slot where a piece of wood used to be. If the ancient Egyptians had fitted a small horizontal stabilizer into that notch, they wouldn't just have a toy, they would have a blueprint for a functional aircraft. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Why would a civilization that used copper chisels and reed boats need a glider? Some researchers suggest the Saqqara bird wasn't a toy at all. It was a prototyping model. Think about how we design aircraft today. We don't build a Boeing 747 first. We build a small model, we test it, and then we scale it up. If the ancient Egyptians could make a 5-inch model that flies, what's stopping them from making a 50-foot version? We know they were masters of wood and linen. We know they understood wind. They used it to power their ships up the Nile for millennia. Is it possible that high-ranking officials in the Ptolemaic era were gliding over the desert sands centuries before Leonardo da Vinci sketched his first flying machine? Of course, mainstream archaeology isn't buying it. They argue it's a weather vane or a ritualistic bird used in ceremonies. But if it's a weather vane, why is it weighted so perfectly for flight? If it's a ritual bird, why is it the only one out of thousands that has a vertical tail fin? This fits into a pattern we see all over the ancient world.
and on this channel. Whether it's the Antikythera mechanism or the precision-cut stones of Pumapunku, we keep finding impossible technology that suggests the ancients weren't just lucky, they were genius engineers. The Saqqara bird might be the most dangerous artifact in the Cairo Museum, because if it is a glider, it means we didn't invent flight in the 20th century. We rediscovered it. Imagine standing on the top of a great pyramid 2,000 years ago. The sun is setting, and far below, a small wooden craft silently catches a thermal, soaring over the palm trees and the Nile. The pilot isn't a modern man. He's an Egyptian priest who understands Bernoulli's principle before it even had a name. The Saqqara bird remains one of the greatest out-of-place artifacts ever found. It sits in a glass case, a silent witness to a lost chapter of human history. But what do you think? Is this simply a toy that happened to be shaped like a plane, or is this proof that the pharaohs had conquered the sky? If you love these impossible technology mysteries, you need to see our video on the 100-ton boxes that laser scanners still can't explain. That video is linked right here. Don't forget to subscribe to Era by Era. History is full of secrets, and we're uncovering them one era at a time. I'll see you in the next mystery.